Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cool Stuff with Kyle. Today, we're going to talk about some really cool fossils that I have in my collection. They are dinosaur footprints. And, I kind of thought about at some point some really neat things that I'd love to be able to have in my collection. And I thought, well, I'd never be able to have anything like this, like a dinosaur footprint, And so I kind of started researching, well, is it possible to get dinosaur footprints in a private collection? How is that done? And I found out that there was a place in Massachusetts called Nash Dinosaur Tracks. And it was a family operation. There was this area in Massachusetts where these dinosaur tracks were commonly found. And this family owned this property there, and they quarried dinosaur tracks out of there, the property that they owned, for a number of years. And so I went there in 2019 and I acquired some dinosaur tracks. So this is the largest one. You can see the sort of toe prints here. This one's been filled in partially with some sediment that I got back into the track after it was made. That's why I got a good deal on it. But I think it's still awesome. It's huge. And so this one is a Ubrontes track. So that doesn't tell you the specific species of dinosaur that it was. Most of the time with tracks, they can't tell necessarily the exact species, but it was probably a big theropod dinosaur. So like a two-legged dinosaur. Probably a carnivore, not necessarily a carnivore though. But very big dinosaur that left this track in the Jurassic Period, probably around 200 million years ago. This was in South Hadley, Massachusetts, and so the guy that was running this place, his name was Cornell Nash. So I met him, there at this place in 2019. I'm going to show you a picture of Mr. Nash actually working on this track right here, because I purchased this track from him, a little bit smaller one. And Mr. Nash, he did this treatment to it for me, staining it, which just kind of makes the area of the track a little bit more apparent. This one has pretty good depth to it, so it's a little bit more apparent. Some of them that aren't quite so deep, it's a little harder to spot where the track is. So he stained this one for me, and it was a neat place. You could go there and you could look around the little museum. You could pay a few dollars to go out to the quarry out back and see some really well-preserved prints that they had out there, and see where the prints were actually being dug out of the ground from. And so I purchased these there from Mr. Nash. I found out that he unfortunately passed away a little while ago, and the place does appear to be closed now, so you can no longer go there to get tracks, unfortunately. This one, Anchisorepus, again, not a specific species, but a smaller, probably theropod dinosaur left this track somewhere around 200 million years ago in the Jurassic Period. So yeah, I own dinosaur tracks, and I just think that's awesome that's possible to do that. This one, Mr. Nash also taught me that you've got these prints that are kind of sunken in where the dinosaur would have stepped into the mud and left this impression. You've got kind of some negative impressions that you can get as well. What happens is, if this print gets left and then some mud comes and fills this in, and then the mud that filled that in forms its own separate rock. And so you can get an impression that's the opposite. And on this side, he showed me that we've got here 3 other prints. You might not be able to see it very well here, but I can feel that this sticks up from the rest of the rock. And he drew around here to show that this was a little print here that was left. This was a print, and one over here that the drawing has kind of faded away from, but 3 prints actually on this side. And when I flipped this over and he saw this, he said, "Oh, I didn't realize there were these other prints on here. I should have charged more for that." But but he gave it to me for the original price that he was asking anyway. And it was a really neat experience, and these are definitely cherished pieces in my collection, these dinosaur footprints. So I hope you enjoyed seeing these, And remember, until next time, the world is full of cool stuff. Go out and find some.